Greetings. Welcome to Creative Talent Productions, and I hope everyone's having a very creative day. And how you can have a creative day is just think of something colorful. It could be anything, as simple as your morning beverage, whether it be water. Look at the bubbles in the water, or look at the vibrant brown or amber from your tea. Your coffee would be brown and your tea would be amber, depending on the leaves. But my point is, everyone, is just try to think of good stuff because there's so much negativity around all of us at all times. It's not, it's not, it's not just us here. We always, there's other factors that always, negate situations and events and issues and so forth and so on. But I'd like to speak about this visa, the visa gold for people to come into America. Um, that's great to attract talent and all, but here's what I don't understand. For all of the labor, hardworking people who have built billions for these corporations, they had no education. They came here with their hands. They came here with their brain power, and they built this country. The slaves built America. Black Africans that were enslaved, trafficked, built this country. But they won't speak upon that because they like to whitewash history. So by whitewashing history, people are unaware of actual events, and there's these foundations and organizations that are historical organizations, and then they rewrite history to make the colonizers look favorable. Do you understand that? Here where I live, I'm in New York State, okay? And this region was occupied, inhabited by the Wapani tribe. The Lenape, the Wapani, Poughkeepsie. This is the name Poughkeepsie comes from Poughkeepsie, all right? But they won't emphasize on that because it's all about grabbing, grabbing, grabbing. See, here where I live, right here, on one of the roadways here, 82, this town supervisor here, this guy decided to name a hamlet after a former slave owner. In 2022 or 2023, they put this new signage up, okay? A former slave owner and the town supervisor from Wappinger Falls, this guy named Joe, thought it was a good idea. No, Joe, it's not a good idea, but it's a good idea to you. It's a good idea to you because he says he's a historian, this guy. Okay, you're a historian. Well, you missed that lesson, my friend, okay? You missed that lesson. I suggest you read history and you find out that name. That person, Swartwout, I'm going to look it up. He was a slave owner. Brinkhoff was a slave owner, okay? Yeah. John Jay was a slave owner, okay? All these high schools up here, all owned by former slave owners. So you tell me, when we live in a society where in 2023, you can acquire state money, okay? Because that's a state road, I believe, to put up a sign of the name of a former slave owner, all right? Yeah. I mean, but there's no oversight. There's limited oversight. These people thought they were going to run game on me with all this nonsense with these permits, and then they got the rug pulled out from underneath them because what they did to me, they did some underhanded stuff. They've done it to other people here in this community. They increased the water bills. They had my water running. Okay, I reported you all to the Utility Commission. I just want you to know this. So there's going to be some further investigations going on because y'all think you're slick. They had the water line running. Okay, they had the valve open. I have stacked all my bills because I'm anal like that. I'm very, 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 when it comes to responsibility, finance, bills, there is no corners to be cut. You don't jack around. The bills due such and such a day. Well, guess what? You write out that check 2 weeks before and you put it on the mailbox if you're sending it via mail. You know, I don't operate in a delusional world. These people had the water running, all right, charging higher bills, higher monetary value for the water, which I was not using. And they were taking that money and they were skimming because somebody was playing around here. All right. So your days of game playing and manipulating funds is over. Okay. I want you to all understand that it's over. They had me go to court. They had me go to this town. And I got very sick after that. And it's all documented. And guess who's responsible for that bullshit? Yeah. You people play games. You play games with somebody who's incompetent. I suggest for your game playing, for players you want to engage with, go to a facility where it's for people who are challenged on an emotional, mental capacity level. Play games with those people. Do you hear me? Play games with those people. So to the controller of my state, I want that money back because I will start a class action lawsuit for Wappinger Falls, New York, for every resident in this municipality to get money back from the damn water bills that they played around with. So get your acts together. Get your acts together. I started the movement with having people, Department of Justice, well, we got this one in here now, but any family who is a surviving member, like I'm a surviving member of P brutality, which ended up in a fatality for my father, there needs to be funding set up for surviving family members. The same way y'all made up the money for September 11th when that was allowed and that was already in the plans in the making to make money because the economy was booming then. Yeah. But you think people are like, you think like we're on a rack pipe. You know, we're on a rack pipe and we're living in a delusional world. We're all in a rack house and we're all, you know, we're living amongst the clouds of the rack. Please. Yeah. So get it together. Start issuing refunds for this little municipality here that played games with people with water bills going up to $1,000. Okay? They hired a forensic accountant. Yeah. So that forensic accountant, I suggest you start with some reimbursements for people with these water bills. And the next time you attempt to go into someone's house, you better have a warrant from the court. Do you understand me? These people came in my house like as if I was a smuggler. Like I had people up in the attic. Yeah, they went into the shed like as if oh my God. No, they didn't go into the shed, but they investigated the shed like as if maybe they thought I had migrants hanging out underneath the shed. Yeah, they're up in the attic too. Yeah, these people, they got something with them. Anyway, but there I go. Where your mother takes it. Okay? This person just wrote something. He said, where do I blank it? Up the blank, yeah. I told him his mother takes it. She should have spit it out. Anyway, go ahead, keep going. You want to get stupid? I will emasculate you and anybody. All right, go for it. Go ahead. Anyway, yeah, these people. Wow. Yeah, well, that's okay. They could do it. Let them have fun doing it. but they're not going to come on here. But it's good though because it shows the lack of intellect. It does. It shows the lack of intellect, which is obvious. You can see it. You know, lack of intellect is what got us in this predicament, and lack of total transparency, and then supporting those friggin' mutts over in Israel. No, Israel is not a country. It was a country created because they were kicked out of Europe, and Jewish people do not co-sign for this carnage. And this mutt, Bibi, because that's what he is, he's born in Poland. What, do you people realize this? Do you have any clue? No, they don't, but they're just going to keep going, oh, Israel is for America. Israel is not for America. Israel is not for America. Israel is a friggin' sack of poo-poo that was placed there because they got kicked out. And then they conjured up this idea to say, well, oh, you're going to be the barrier to protect us from the Middle East. Well, the Middle East NATO is forming. Middle East NATO is forming. And Erdogan, he is not going to take no mess from Israel. He's not. So we are this. We are already here. We are like a hair's length of a distance between a total world war. It's already happening. Devastation, what's been going on in Gaza, okay? Then you got Sudan, okay? You have Ukraine. They don't care. It's all about money. But they'll give this country, they'll give Israel billions, and then people are sleeping in the street. We have the worst education system. Instead of building on our country, you're building on division and separation because of your whiteness, Mr. Trump. And you talk about going to heaven? You're not going to heaven. Nobody in your family is going to heaven. You're all scorned for eternity. Every single one of you. Yeah, because of your actions. The same thing with Biden. The same thing with the Obamas, the same thing with the Kennedys, the same thing with the Clintons. Every single one of you who have gone into this arena of public sphere of policy and being policymakers for the world, your souls are depleted. And Cuomo's lost. Cuomo, you're done. You're not going to become governor of New York. You're not. Adams, give it up. You had your bid, you had your run. Now you can go do what you got to do. Yeah, this whole level of lack of ethics is really bad. It's so bad in government. And until ethics are abided by and followed, well, it's going to be after he's out of office. And all the damage that has been done to our economy because of them, yeah. Yep. Don't like him. Pray for his family. That's how I feel. Never liked him. Never agreed with him. I pray for his family. Okay? Everybody have a good one. I'll be back. When you're dealing with any government agency, make sure you document everything. And for the people here in Little Wappinger Falls, I'll be waiting for that money controller. Okay? And then they did another game with my taxes. I submitted my taxes for 2024. The lady says, oh no, it's got to be 2023. It's always a year before. Yeah. Tabula rasa here, Wappinger Falls. Tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is wipe the slate clean. It's a Latin word. Anyway, everybody, have a good one. Pop off while I'm on live. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's entertaining. Everybody, have a good one.